I am absolutely going to testify. I won't even say his name. He is an evil being and is going to pay.
I think allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs. And he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted.
And that the you of then was on a path of self-destruction.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure, 100%. Yeah. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. I don't know if I'd be alive, for sure. It was dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want. But I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and
Wow! I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Look at what a beautiful.
Bieber turned 15, and it suddenly seemed that Hollywood was keen to almost initiate him. I think that's the right word. Like there was almost like this initiation that he needed to go through. So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie For the Times of Their Lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full.
Young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun. Now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did. The allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher. As we are going through these lawsuits and Diddy is in prison, we are recognizing that everybody knew. This was an open secret about what Diddy was doing. So it just begs the question, who allowed Justin Bieber to be in the presence of this man, knowing what he was up to, allegedly up.
The courtroom went completely silent when Diddy's calm mask finally cracked. His fists clenched, jaw tight, and tension flooded the room the moment Justin Bieber's name was mentioned. What happened next was the exact moment Diddy lost control during day 2 of the trial. After learning Bieber had publicly declared support for Cassie, security had to step in, and even the judge looked stunned. Earlier that day, things started off with an unusual calm. Diddy entered flanked by his high-powered legal team, putting on a confident front. But his eyes told another story. He kept scanning the room, visibly unsettled. Court security was tighter than usual, too. Extra guards stood near Diddy, one right behind his chair, another by the aisle, like someone got tipped off that something was about to go down. Cassie soon entered, turning every head in the room. Dressed in a simple black dress with a white collar, she was escorted by friends who formed a protective circle around her. It was striking. Diddy with hired muscle, Cassie with real loyalty. Diddy couldn't stop checking his phone. He kept scrolling, his expression darkening with each glance. Eventually, one of his lawyers had to physically take the phone from him. At that moment, Diddy's hand was visibly shaking. Meanwhile, the prosecution team acted strange, whispering, passing notes, showing each other something on a tablet. They looked like they had just found their smoking gun. Diddy's lead attorney kept trying to calm him down, leaning over, whispering, even putting a hand on his shoulder. Diddy wasn't having it. He brushed him off, hard enough to knock the lawyer off balance. When the judge entered, her expression was sharper than the day before. She glanced at Diddy's table, then whispered to her clerk, who immediately picked up the phone. What most people didn't know yet was that Diddy had just seen something explosive online. something that pushed him over the edge. Bieber's social media post had just gone live. The bailiff called the room to order, and tension shot up instantly. Jurors exchanged nervous glances. One juror even asked for water, her hand trembling as she took a sip. Diddy sat rigid, leg bouncing, his breathing quick and heavy. You could feel the explosion building. While courtroom drama played out inside, chaos erupted online. Justin Bieber had just dropped a bombshell. In the middle of the trial, he posted a statement supporting Cassie, and it shook the entire music industry. What made it land so hard was the history. Diddy used to call himself Bieber's mentor, bragging about guiding his early career. Seeing Bieber speak out publicly felt like a direct betrayal, and it wasn't vague. Bieber gave details. He talked about seeing Diddy grab Cassie's arm too hard at a party in 2015. He recalled Diddy interrupting her mid-sentence during interviews, controlling the narrative. These weren't rumors, these were first-hand accounts. As word spread, courthouse hallways buzzed. People huddled around phones, whispering and pointing. Court officers had to remind folks to turn off devices before re-entering. Legal aides printed screenshots for the attorneys. Even jurors looked uneasy. One carried a confused look, clearly sensing something major had happened. Bieber's post included a throwback photo of him and Cassie at a past event, both smiling. But in Cassie's eyes, something seemed off. Bieber's caption said he always respected her strength and wished he had spoken up sooner. For Diddy, the timing couldn't have been worse. Bieber's 270 million followers saw the post instantly. Major media outlets ran headlines within minutes. This was no longer just celebrity drama. It was a megastar taking a clear stand in an active trial. Reporters scrambled. One literally ran out to call her editor. Another typed furiously, mouthing, "Did you see it?" to a colleague. The courtroom buzzed louder, and a bailiff had to call for silence. Some people glanced toward Diddy to see if he'd seen it. Others watched Cassie, who sat calm and composed despite the noise. What made Bieber's message powerful was his honest language. He called Cassie brave and truthful, saying behaviors he witnessed years ago troubled me deeply. He admitted he hadn't understood the pattern back then and now regretted staying silent. And just like that, the trial had shifted, inside and out. Diddy's attorney saw Bieber's post first and immediately went into damage control, physically blocking Diddy's view of another lawyer's phone and urgently whispering for all devices to be cleared from the table. But it was already too late. Someone had shown Diddy the screen, and the shift in his expression was immediate. At first, his face showed total shock, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. Then came the realization, betrayal. His brows furrowed, and quickly, rage took over. His nostrils flared, his jaw clenched, and his hands began shaking so hard he couldn't even hold the legal papers his lawyer handed him. They slipped to the floor, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. Then Diddy suddenly stood up, abruptly and aggressively. It wasn't a casual stretch. It was tense, like a powder keg ready to blow. A nearby bailiff immediately moved forward, clearly on alert. That's when Diddy muttered, loud enough for people in front to hear, "After everything I did for that kid, loyalty means nothing." He added something about consequences before his lawyer grabbed his arm and pulled him back into his seat. Earlier that morning, Diddy had played the role of calm, composed businessman. Now he was twitchy, agitated, wiping his face and loosening his tie like he couldn't breathe. Then came the outburst. He slammed his hand on the table, knocking over a water glass that shattered on the floor. A court reporter nearby heard him whisper, "He'll never work in this town again." Neither of them will. His lawyer had to wrap an arm around him to calm him down. The judge immediately banged her gavel and called for a 15-minute recess, but that only gave Diddy time to spiral further. When court resumed, Cassie was transformed. She walked confidently to the stand, her posture strong, eyes level. She looked the jury dead in the eye and didn't flinch when Diddy tried to stare her down. Then came new evidence. Text messages from Diddy to Cassie. In one thread from 2016, he sent 17 messages in a row, demanding she pick up her phone. Another showed him asking for her hotel room number, saying, "I need to know where you are every minute. That's the deal if you want to keep your career." The courtroom was dead silent. Cassie detailed how Diddy monitored who she spoke to in the industry. There was a list of male artists I wasn't allowed to speak to unless he was there, she said. One of them? Justin Bieber. When she asked why, Diddy allegedly grabbed her arm and whispered she'd regret disobeying. Then prosecutors played hotel footage from 2018. It showed Cassie trying to talk to a male artist. Diddy appeared, placed his arm around her, and led her away, just as she'd described. Diddy whispered urgently to his lawyer, clearly rattled. Cassie went on to provide exact dates, names, and locations. March 8, 2017, at the Standard Hotel, June 22nd at Diddy's house in Miami, September 12th, backstage at the VMAs. Diddy's lawyer frantically searched his notes, visibly stressed. She revealed others were now reaching out. Since Bieber's post, my phone hasn't stopped. People are ready to tell what they saw. Then came the final blow. Cassie testified that after one innocent chat with Bieber at a party, Diddy told her, "Even Justin knows what happens to people who cross me." With Bieber now publicly on her side, that threat looked damning. As she continued, Diddy visibly unraveled, fidgeting, whispering to his attorney, eyes darting in panic. The composed mogul from day one was gone, replaced by a man crumbling under the weight of the truth. These texts completely undercut Diddy's claim that Cassie made her allegations up for fame. She had confided in Bieber years before going public. The judge banged the gavel again. "Remove the jury," she ordered. As the jurors exited, most stared at Diddy, who was still breathing heavily and shouting. Security moved in. "Sir, calm down," one said, placing a hand on his shoulder. For a moment, it looked like Diddy might push back again, but instead he went silent, visibly shaken. His carefully curated image was now shattered in front of everyone. With the jury out, Judge Marlowe didn't hold back. "Mr. Combs, this is a courtroom, not a studio. One more outburst and I'll hold you in contempt. You'll finish this trial from a cell." She ordered a psychiatric evaluation and tighter security. 2 officers within arm's reach of Diddy at all times. His phone privileges were revoked, and even his attorneys couldn't approach him without a guard present. His legal team huddled in a corner, visibly panicked. One lawyer shook his head repeatedly, another made frantic calls, a third scribbled notes while glancing at Diddy like they knew the case had taken a massive blow. When the jury returned, the shift was obvious. One woman moved her chair slightly farther from the defense table. A man who'd been taking notes now sat stiffly, arms crossed. Juror number 8, who once smiled at Diddy, now refused to even look at him. The prosecution team, on the other hand, stayed cool. The lead prosecutor calmly organized her papers. Her assistant hid a grin behind her hand. Security didn't pretend anymore. 2 guards stood right behind Diddy, another at the courtroom door. And now, with Justin Bieber breaking the silence, the door is open. The question is, who's next to walk through it and speak out against Diddy?